الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام.
In the name of Allah, most gracious, most compassionate, all praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon His final messenger Muhammad, and may the peace and the blessings and the mercy of Allah be upon each one of us here this evening. Now, first of all, the talk is about my journey to Islam. We might get to that. We might get to that eventually. But there are a lot of things I want to say first before we get there, to kind of set the tone, set the scene, set the atmosphere of us being here this evening. People who want to know more about their faith, who want to be better people. So that's sincerely the beginning. I want to thank you for inviting me here. The second thing is probably the most important thing I would say today. Of all the places on the face of the earth I could be today, I find myself in Southampton. I'm in Southampton here today. I'm here as part of a 3-week tour all over Britain, different universities. So tonight I could have accepted an invitation to a talk, I don't know, to Singapore. Or I could be giving a talk in San Francisco. I could be giving a talk in Edinburgh. But for whatever reason, I'm here tonight giving a talk in Southampton. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what Allah's plan is that I be here tonight. But there's one thing that I know with utter certainty, that He who created the heavens and the earth and everything in between planned from the beginning of time that I would be here with you tonight. That was part of His plan. So I don't know why He brought me, but that's why I'm here. And in the same way, I'll invite you to ask yourself, why did He bring you here tonight? Because it was part of His plan too. When He created everything, the universe and everything that's in it, He planned that you would be here tonight for this talk. Now, I'm not suggesting that it's my words He brought you to listen to. Because you've got to think of the whole event in its wholeness. It could be that Allah Almighty wants to speak a word to you on the bus on the way to the talk. It could be that there's someone who gives you some pizza when the talk's finished, that just says something that makes you think. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, said, the unexamined life is not worth living. We should ask ourselves every day, lots of why. Why do we do this? And we should certainly, every night, we should ask ourselves, what have I got to be thankful for today? Most of us don't do that. But if we did, if we wrote a few thoughts down on a notepad before we went to bed, counting the blessings of our Lord, our lives as people would be better. And as Muslims, our lives would be richer. But, we're so slow to hear what Allah tells us. And He's telling us things all the time, whispering words to us. Sometimes He's leading us by the hand. Sometimes He's giving a little push from behind. Sometimes He gives us a kick, because we're very slow to hear. So ask yourself, why did He bring you here? It could be, I'm here tonight because there's a Muslim in the audience. We can all dress up and say the right words. Could be someone here who doesn't pray at all. And Allah has brought us all. He brought me from Egypt, and you from all your different faiths, just for that one sister, to bring her back to her holy religion. It could be that. It could be there's someone here who doesn't like Islam. Doesn't like Islam at all. And He's brought us all here to encourage them to see a softer side, maybe a side of Islam they've not seen before. It could be, there could be. You maybe know in your heart why you're here. Questions in your mind, maybe that's what brought you. Wanting to be a better person, wanting to be a better Muslim, I don't know what brought you. So that's the tone I think we've established, the tone of the evening, Some people, some Islamic societies call this talk of mine, they call it From the Vatican to Al-Azhar, my journey to Islam. And I say to all audiences, you know, I say, if any of you have come here to hear me criticize the church, or the Pope, or the Bible, or Christian teaching, you've come to the wrong talk. Go and listen to someone else talk about that. All I've got to say is good things about the people who made me the person I am today. So if you've come for a fight, you know, I said to one university the other day, if you've come to play games with religion and to argue whose religion is the best, I put my hands up. You've won the game. Okay, I'm not into playing games. Religion is too important. It's not for us to fight about and argue about, you know. It's too beautiful. It's too beautiful for that. So maybe, you all look very serious now. Maybe to kind of prove, you know, prove the point I've made, that there's absolutely there's no hard feeling, or, no, I'll do it later. To prove my love for the church, I'll do it later. I want to start with a different story altogether. You know, I found in life, bismillah, that people are more interested in stories and events. It keeps their attention more. So I'll say the few words I want to say through stories and events. It's more interesting, okay? And there's another thing, two more things to say. One is, you know, and as God is my judge, wallahi, wallah azim, I say to myself every day, Idris, why would anyone invite you to give them a talk? What would they invite you for? What have you got to tell them? They've been Muslim longer than you have. They know more about Islam than you do. So all I'm not coming to tell you, you know, the rights and wrongs of this or that or whatever. I'm just going to tell you what you know, but put it in words that maybe you don't normally use. You know, from my own background, I'm just going to give you a different way of describing the things you always describe. And then as well, finally, before we start talking, I need to welcome any members of the security services who are here this evening, who've come to keep an eye on us. Either them or their friends or those they pay. You're very welcome. You're very well. We've nothing to hide. I certainly haven't. You know, what you see is what you get. So you may go home a bit disappointed if you come to hear some juicy terror stories, or you know, see how I'm going to lead the students of Southampton astray. Inshallah, we'll all head to heaven together. And maybe you might learn something about Islam tonight, and it might bring you to Islam. That's why Allah Almighty brought you. So we'll see. So I want to begin with forgive me with the camera there, but I like moving up and down. So you'll have to follow me if you want to keep me on it, because I don't like to stay in one place. I want to start 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was invited to Istanbul by, there was a Turkish Muslim writer you've heard of, Harun Yahya. Some of the Muslims have heard of him. He writes about creationism, Darwin, and that kind of thing. I don't really understand any of it, but that's what he writes about. And he invited me to Istanbul to make a program with him and to talk about some things. So I went to Istanbul, beautiful city, and met him. That's another talk. I could give you a talk about Harun Yahya. That's not for tonight. But while I was there, I met two other people. Two very important people. The first person, and it's all part of what we're talking about tonight. The first person I met was His All Holiness Bartholomew I, the Patriarch of Constantinople. Now the Patriarch of Constantinople is to the Greek Church, to the Eastern Church, what the Pope is to the Western Church. He's a big fish. He's the head of, we'll say, 350 million Greek Orthodox Christians in the world. And I went to his residence on the Bosphorus and was taken up by young men wearing white gloves and you know, liveried uniforms to his study, to the Patriarch's study. And we got up to the study, and he was sitting there at his desk. Very respectable, long Muslim beard, you know, very lovely, very, very sweet man. And sitting with him is an advisor on interfaith matters, Metropolitan Emmanuel of France, who was sitting with a big black hat and a staff and a medal, you know, of whatever, a big gold medal there. Again, a very long beard. And I said to the Patriarch, I said, "All Holiness, you honor me and you honor all Muslims by this meeting. And on behalf of all Muslims, I want to greet you. and say that we want to have good relations and get on with